what does Islam or Muslims have to gain by this? Nothing. And when you have, for instance, let's take for example these recent terrorist attacks, and you look at it objectively, you see that this individual who drove this truck, this was recently in France. The first victim, by the way, was a Muslim grandmother. And again, one innocent life is tragic enough, but the multitude that were senselessly killed by what? By a person who was sick and deranged, some sociopath, someone who was
qui boit, qui consomme, qui fume, qui vole, qui mange, qui travaille. Il est séparé de sa femme, il habite tout seul dans le quartier. Il est toujours sur un vélo. Il va à la plage comme tout le monde. Il fumait du hashish, du shit. Il volait des vélos. Il volait des vélos qu'il les vendait à 50 euros, 60 euros. Ça n'a rien à voir avec l'islam.
Atamachari, he is believed to be the first killed in the atrocity. The first person believed to have died in the nice terror attack was a Muslim woman.
Everything that Islam says not to do, he was doing it. So we should really be looking for people who are out practicing, you know, who are fornicating, who are out in the nightclubs, who are out, I mean, if you want to go by that logic, these are the people that should be surveillance. Because if this psychopath, this sick and deranged evil individual, if he was following Islam, he wouldn't have done any of these actions. Same thing with the person in Florida. If he was during Ramadan, if he was with his family doing zuhur, if he was starting his day with the fast, if he wouldn't have been in any illicit relationship, he would have had a family, he would have been a peaceful person, praying to God, seeking guidance and peace, totally away from any nightclub and any of these things that Islam calls people away from. But you see countless times anyone who has anything to do with these despicable, despisable acts, his life testifies that he's doing everything opposite to Islam. So we got that out of the way. I want to make this kind of short. I don't want to go on too long, but one, Islam condemns it. Muslims condemn it. It has nothing to do with Islam.
ISIS exists because the United States invaded Iraq and destroyed all the institutions of that country and left it in a complete mess. That's a fact. Okay? ISIS doesn't exist because of Islam, because Islam was in Iraq before 2003, and there was no Sunni extremists, there was no Sunni terrorism, there was no ISIS before 2003. This emerged in Iraq because of the United States invasion. That's what caused ISIS. Islam didn't cause ISIS. But if you look at the U.S. media, it's obsessed with getting people to talk about, is Islam the cause of ISIS? Is ISIS because of Islam? Why does it do that? Because the function of media and government is to prevent people from actually, in this case, prevent them from actually reflecting on the actual causes of this phenomenon, which is United States unjust warmongering. Because if people sat there and said, wait a second, we got talked into invading this country, it was a total disaster, now we have this ISIS business, then they might say, maybe we shouldn't go and invade countries the next time we're asked by our government to support a war. That's not what the kind of power elites or the military media industrial complex wants. They don't want people thinking like that. So they have to sit and place the focus on some other cause. Oh, this is because of Islam. They don't want Americans actually thinking about really cause these things. So when I tell Muslims or even non-Muslims about this is, don't be bamboozled by what you see on TV. It's very simple. I mean, I know it's obvious, but just because people say stuff a lot on TV doesn't make it true.